successful films. Me and my wife Parveen at that time were married for 4 years. We were blessed with a beautiful, gorgeous baby boy. We named him Ayan. And Ayan just brought this new found vitality, joy, and life into our house and our lives. And things couldn't have been better. Till I remember the date very clearly, January the 13th, 2013. Me, my wife, and Ayan had gone for a lunch to a restaurant in Mumbai, and that's when we noticed the first very peculiar symptoms in my son. My wife took him to the washroom and he passed blood in his urine. And we as parents obviously freaked out. We took him to the nearest hospital and his pediatrician started doing tests. And here's the thing, till a couple of weeks back we were actually delaying a simple blood test in our son for his hemoglobin levels because we were scared, we couldn't see him go through physical trauma as parents. And here in this hospital ward, there were needle after needle jabbed into his arm to get to the bottom of the problem, to understand why the symptoms had erupted. Anyways, that nightmare of a day got over. We went back home, and I remember before I slept, I wanted to do my own investigation, so I went onto the internet to find out. And the internet can be a rich treasure source for a lot of information. At the same time, it can be a very scary place. You're confronted with things that you don't want to confront. And I remember seeing it on a website, very clearly in bold letters. It was the C word, cancer. And I prayed that night. I said, God, please don't let this be cancer. Please don't let this be cancer. Let it be a disease. Let it be anything that can be treated in a couple of days or a couple of weeks, but not cancer. So the next day, we went to the hospital. The blood tests came out clear. But in the sonography, we detected something very scary. There was a tumor the size of a seasoned ball that was growing on top of his left kidney. It had almost eclipsed his kidney. I remember seeing it on the sonography. It was, this dark grey haze. I can't forget it. He had been diagnosed with Wilms tumor. It's a very rare case of kidney cancer. It happens to roughly 5% of all cancers in kids worldwide. And it's a very small statistic, and my son happened to be part of that rare, unfortunate percentage of kids. So now, if you've had someone close to you being diagnosed with cancer, you know what the next couple of days, weeks, and months are like. You're confronted with terms like chemotherapy, pathology, remission, survival, 5-year survival, 10-year survival. And for parents, it was extremely, it was heartbreaking, and frankly, most of it was Greek and gibberish for us. But as parents, we fought, and we fought hard for 7 months. He was given chemotherapy. But through this entire phase, I was going through a very peculiar, I had a thought in my mind. I knew as a father I was giving everything I could financially for the medical protocol. But there was this fear, and this fear is something all parents have who have kids who have been diagnosed with cancer and cancer patients. That is, when the chemotherapy is being given, everything is fine. What will happen once it stops? Cancer comes back. So what can we do to make sure it doesn't come back? I wanted to know that my 4-year-old baby would be fine after chemotherapy. So I asked a lot of oncologists, a lot of doctors, on what's going to happen after this. Everyone said, we give chemotherapy, fingers crossed, we hope for the best. And that's not exactly what a parent wants to hear. They want to hear that their kid will be fine. And that's not what I heard. So that's when I started doing a lot of research on the disease. I started reading a lot of books on oncology, a lot of books on holistic and alternative medication. And I found out some very scary things about the disease, some very interesting things. Turned out that 15% of cancers worldwide are genetic. 85% of cancers are lifestyle related, which is extremely scary. And that made things very clear. It put it into perspective for me. When doctors were telling me what is happening in the past 10, 20, 30 years, there are kids pouring into hospital wards. There are no beds available. There are patients, and every day it's exponentially exploding on the scene. It was very clear we have drastically changed our environment. The chemistry of the air we breathe, the food we eat, the water, our habits have completely destroyed things for us. And a very scary statistic is that they say in India by 2030, at some point of time in your life, you will get cancer. 4 in 5 people will get cancer. By 2030, 11.5 million people will die of this disease. And that is extremely scary. And that brings me a very important point to Mr. Kejriwal's fight against pollution in Delhi. And you might think, what is the connect, cancer and pollution? It is a big connect. I think this fight should be fought in every city across the nation, because it's one of the key causes for a lot of cancers. And we obviously equipped ourselves with all this data. We realized that, cancer cannot be fought with a single intervention. It has to be fought with a multi-dimensional intervention. So we gave him the chemo, and we found out all the natural resources we could to fight this disease. And I'm very happy to say that it's been 2 years since Ayan was diagnosed in 2013. It's a very important landmark for us, and he's been cancer-free. And it's very heartening. And like the doctors say, he's out of the red. And after that, this book eventually, with Bilal, his mind, with Hussein's mind, it evolved into more than that. It evolved into things, funny stories from the film industry, anecdotes, me as an irresponsible bum in the film industry, and in my college and school, stories about kissing. I'm sure you all love that. But it was very important to know all of that, to know eventually the catharsis that happened towards the end, and which has been included in the final chapter. I'll just give you a brief about that incident. It was the sports day that my son was going to run in, and he had just come back from his treatment. He was extremely weak. He had lost a lot of weight. He had lost almost all his hair. He was looking like an old man. And he wanted to run this race. We, as parents, were extremely protective. We said, no, we're not allowing him to do it. But he, being the stubborn kid, wanted to run it, and we allowed him finally. He got his way. So I was sitting in the front row in the sports day, and I remember he was at the starting line, and the race began. The teacher said, get, set, go. And he ran as fast as he could. He was weak, but as fast as he could, he ran. He took 4 steps, and he fell. He fell, he got up, he took 4 more steps, and he fell again. And that time he fell harder. And something miraculous happened. He got up again, he ran, and he finished the race. And he turned over his shoulder, he smiled at me, he winked, and he put his thumbs up. And he went backstage and told all the kids who were crying because they didn't come first, and he said, at least we participated. So here there was a 4-year-old who gave me gyan and wisdom that 10 wise men couldn't give me in my entire career or my college days in school. And he taught me that, life's going to hit you, it's going to hit you time and again. You're going to fall hard. But however shaky your feet, you must get up. Hop, stumble, but get up. It's going to hit you again, you're going to fall again, but you have to get up again. And that's what my 4-year-old son taught me, and that's what's been documented in this book. This is the change. And it's obviously very elaborate in the book. So I just want a lot of, I want to be very clear, this book is not just for cancer patients or people who are battling this disease. It is extremely alarming. For your families, if you love them, it's very essential to know what not to do in your life, in your lifestyle, so that you don't get cancer. And it has already far exceeded, heart attacks now, which was the #1 killer a decade ago, and it's become alarming. So I just hope everyone gets a copy and just, gets knowledge on their side and informs themselves and their families about this. Thank you.
Thank you, Emraan. I would now request Honorable Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal to say a few words.
सबसे पहले मैं इमरान को और बिलाल को बधाई देना चाहता हूँ ये किताब लिखने के लिए, लेकिन उससे ज़्यादा बधाई देना चाहता हूँ इमरान साहब को, जो उन्होंने बैटल अपनी ज़िंदगी में लड़ा, जो उन्होंने अपने बेटे की कहानी बताई। मैंने किताब पढ़ी नहीं है, लेकिन अभी सारी कहानी जब सुनी सो इमरान साहब को मैं ये कहना चाहता हूँ, माफ कीजिएगा लेकिन मुझे लगता है आपका बेटा आपसे बड़ा सुपरस्टार है. एंड आई थिंक दिस बुक इज अबाउट होप. ये उम्मीद के बारे में है. और इमरान साहब ने बिल्कुल सही कहा कि ये केवल कैंसर के बारे में नहीं है. पहली चीज तो कैंसर के जितने पेशेंट्स हैं वो जब उम्मीद खो देते हैं तो फिर वो शरीर भी धीरे धीरे बहुत तेजी के साथ गिव अप करना चालू कर देता है. जब तक शरीर के अंदर उम्मीद रहती है तो अपने आप किस्मत थी उनकी. ही हैड द मनी, ही कुड टेक हिज चाइल्ड टू कनाडा. पर इस देश के अंदर बहुत सारे ऐसे लोग हैं जो बहुत गरीब है, जो इलाज नहीं करा पाते. वहां शायद सरकार की जिम्मेदारी बनती है टू इन्वेस्ट सफिशिएंटली इन पब्लिक सर्विसेज, ताकि कोई भी व्यक्ति इस देश के अंदर पैसे की कमी की वजह से ना मरे या उसको पूरी स्वास्थ्य सेवाएं मिले. पैसे की कमी नहीं होनी चाहिए. सो दैट इज द गवर्नमेंट्स जॉब एंड इन दिल्ली वी आर ट्राइंग आवर बेस्ट. सो अगेन आई विश टू कंग्रेचुलेट बोथ इमरान एंड बिलाल. आई विश अयान वॉज हियर एंड मैं तो उनसे मिलना चाहूंगा, उस बच्चे से मिलना चाहूंगा. थैंक यू सो मच.
Thank you so much. I think our Honorable Chief Minister has some. We will have a question and answer session after this. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. All right, I'm now going to open it for questions. Please raise your hands, introduce yourselves and ask direct questions about the book. Thank you.
This is Amit from UNI News Agency. मेरा क्वेश्चन आपसे ये है कि इस पूरे जर्नी में किस तरीके से आपकी बेटर हाफ अयान की मम्मी ने किस तरीके से सपोर्ट किया, क्योंकि ये कहा जाता है कि ऐसे सिचुएशन में थोड़ी पैनिक ज़्यादा हो जाती हैं महिलाएं.
जी जी, मेरी वाइफ के बारे में पूछ रहे हैं. ऑब्वियसली मैं उनके बिना ये लड़ाई नहीं लड़ पाता. जब हम कैमरा लेके गए अयान को